Hey, what's going on, friends and theme park fans? This is SilverStix here for another Stix Top 6, where I count down the best and worst that theme parks have to offer. Alrighty then, folks, today is officially the day that many of you have asked about and have been patiently waiting for. It's the day we finally make our way over to Tampa, Florida for the first time here on Stix Top 6, where we can visit the, weirdly enough, SeaWorld-owned theme park, Busch Gardens, to check out the best and worst rides and attractions that you can find throughout the park. And yes, just so people are aware, I do know there's a Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia as well, but I've never been there, so I really don't have anything to say about that, but I am a Florida resident, so I do know my Florida parks pretty well. So, with that being said, if you've never seen a best and worst episode of Stix Top 6, it is super simple. Let me give you the rundown. Numbers 6 through 4 will be our top 3 worst, while numbers 3 through 1 will wrap up our list with the top 3 best. This one's gonna be a ton of fun, so let's let our inner animal come on out as we dive right into today's ferocious countdown. Slithering our way over to the Pantopia section of the park to kick off today's list with the unbelievably generic steel coaster known as the Sand Serpent. This little family ride has a duration of about 1 minute and 50 seconds, a maximum height of just under 50 feet in the air, and a pretty decent speed of 28 miles per hour. And for a family ride, those stats are honestly remarkable. However, you soon realize that the height and speed are only there because this is your average wild mouse coaster that you find at basically any other theme park with nearly those exact same stats, and the duration doesn't really add enough to this ride to make it worth it. Wild mouse coasters make you dizzy, they slam you from side to side, giving you whiplash, and this ride, Sand Serpent specifically, has almost no theming done to it whatsoever, so it truly has nothing to show for itself. It's as off the shelf as you can possibly get. Speaking of unoriginal and bland attractions, let's go ahead and swim on over to Stanleyville to take a ride on the signature attraction of that area, the Stanley Falls Flume Ride. Similarly to the Sand Serpent, this attraction is just way too average and generic. Other than the flume and the water itself, there's no theming throughout this attraction at all. In fact, you don't even go inside any buildings for this ride, and that's as simple as you can get. I guess the scenery is nice, it's very vibrant with lots of foliage, and you get some good sight lines of the bigger coasters from this ride, and that 43-foot drop, while it doesn't compare to some other log rides, Splash Mountain and Ripsaw Falls, it's still a nice little finale to this overall pretty lifeless attraction. I suppose I can recommend it, possibly if you're just super hot and need to cool off, cause it is Florida, but honestly otherwise, I'd say you could probably just skip right on over this one. Alrighty gang, to round out our top 3 worst rides and attractions today, we'll actually be soaring above the crowds as we take a trip on the Sky Ride, which is, once again, an unbelievably simple and overall pointless attraction. This one is your typical gondola system that we've seen theme parks use since back in the 50s, except this one's as slow as can be, and the sight line of the park that it provides honestly isn't all it's cracked up to be. You can just see a lot more if you're from the peaks of each of the thrill rides, if we're being honest. The seats are uncomfortable, the carts swing on the wire way too freely, and there's not as much airflow as you'd expect there to be, so it's usually hot and humid up there. Seriously, I can only recommend this attraction for maybe older folks who just want to get to the other side of the park with ease, but I mean, other than that, I really can't think of one good reason to ride this over any of the other amazing rides and attractions throughout the park, but hey, I guess that's why the Sky Ride easily takes its spot as the #1 worst attraction at Busch Gardens. Fantastic job! Alrighty, getting into a much more positive mindset now. To kick off our top 3 best rides and attractions, we'll be slithering on over to the Egypt section of the park to take a spin on the unabashedly original Cobra's Curse family roller coaster. Right off the bat, this coaster wants to impress you with its amazing queue, and by instead of taking you up an average lift hill to reach the initial drop point, Cobra's Curse has an elevating platform that takes you straight to the top, directly face to face with a ginormous and intimidating 80-foot tall snake statue that is sure to boost anyone's adrenaline before pushing you and your family off that first ledge. And then once you do take off and really get going, you'll experience dozens of twists and turns that are intentionally supposed to wind like a snake does, all at a very reasonable and impressive speed of 40 miles per hour. Meanwhile, this is a spinning ride, so depending on how much weight you're actually putting into the ride cart, those 40 mile per hour twists and turns can end up being as terrifying and death-defying as any of the other massive coasters Busch Gardens has to offer. And the best part about this ride is it's incredibly underrated, with a wait time that's usually leaps and bounds less than the bigger coasters. So while people spend their whole day waiting for Falcon's Fury and SheiKra, you can be enjoying yourself on Cobra's Curse again and again and again. Chugging our way along over to either the Nairobi, Congo, or Stanleyville stations where we can climb aboard and take a ride upon the almighty Serengeti Express. This attraction provides both comfort and relaxation while also being exciting and unique all at the same time. Because taking a trip on this old 1970s steam train is already such a treat, but then being able to pass by all sorts of animals and landmarks throughout the park, all while the train leisurely drives along this 2-mile-long track, is simply ecstasy. I know most everybody coming to Busch Gardens has nothing but thrill rides on the mind, but I assure you, if you take a breather and give the Serengeti Express a run-through, it'll absolutely end up being one of the highlights of your vacation, without a single doubt in my mind. Alrighty gang, I'm sure after hearing me mention Falcon's Fury and SheiKra earlier, it's probably got you thinking I would have chose one of those as our number 1 pick today, but in fact my personal favorite attraction and the one that I believe takes the cake as the best ride or attraction throughout Busch Gardens Tampa is the one, the only, Cheetah Hunt. Located in the Crown Colony Plaza section of the park, I love this attraction. It's got the height and exhilaration of SheiKra at 102 feet in the air with a 120-foot drop and a massive inversion with the speed of an actual cheetah at 60 miles per hour. Not to mention the ride cart launches 3 separate times, so you constantly have that insane blast of G-force directly in your face. And if I haven't enticed you enough on this one to keep up with the cheetah theme, there's speakers located throughout the track that play a booming cheetah roar to truly put a cherry on top of the whole experience. I am telling you guys, at least in my opinion, Cheetah Hunt is easily the premier attraction at Busch Gardens Tampa, and you would be crazy to miss out on this one on any single trip to the park.